children are engaged in a 2-week session that seeks to unlock their potential through the game of chess while learning to read, write, and acquire basic literacy skills. It takes them through the game of being knights, queens, and kings with promises of more rewards. Aside from prizes won, collaborations are being made with rehabilitation homes and orphanages, and fundraising to provide financial and educational support for these young people. In Ikorodu, also in Lagos, a group of siblings, Babatunde Sani, Muiz Sani, Malik Sani, and their cousin Fawaz Aino, are popularly known as Ikorodu boys, are young social media sensations.
Who was that guy? That brother is the best damn soldier that ever lived.
I just love acting.
This online comedy group recreates and mimics with childlike playfulness multi-million-dollar music videos, Bollywood movie trailers, and other visual contents using recycled local materials in the neighborhood.
We're hoping if you spin the chamber enough times, you're gonna catch a bullet.
Notable among their works is a reenacted trailer of the Hollywood film Extraction in 2020, which earned them a recognition and award by online streaming platform Netflix. In 2021, they were nominated in the Favorite African Social Media Star at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Their elder brother doubles as the video editor and manager. Also in Ikorodu, the Dream Catchers Academy, founded by Sheyi Oluyole, is created to transform the lives of less privileged girls who have experienced abuse, neglect, or economic hardship resulting in lack of educational attainment by giving them a chance through quality education and arts. A popular quality about them is their unique dance skill. Aside from the Ikorodu boys and the Dream Catchers, who have become global sensations, Fumi Omishope is another individual adding value to street children in Kwara State.
These children are human. Sometimes we look at them as if they don't have the same blood that flows through our veins. You know, they are being abused on the road and even by the parents that take them out to bed. And my heart drawn to those children. Imagine a melancholy child begging on the street. A melancholy that something little can set them off. You know, now begging on the street, hearing all manner of rejection and all of that. So that is what drawn me to them.
With our Home and Street Kids Welfare Initiative, Fumi is shaping the lives of these children using education as a means of empowerment.
We used to have an orientation school where they come for 3 months before we enroll them in regular school. But we realized there's only 25% of them that ended up staying with those regular schools because street children are known for freedom. So when they go to regular school and they are being discriminated upon, they are being told upon, maybe they go late to school. Some of them, their parents are blind. Both parents are blind. And they will want to take the parents to the junction before they go to school. Now they get to school 8 o'clock and teachers start beating them. They won't come tomorrow. Some of them are so passionate about education that they wake up, wear their clothes and they're running to school without taking their bath. Now teacher will not understand the passion. The fact
means without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today on the network service of the NTA. I am Elizabeth Omori. 62 years ago, Nigeria gained independence, replacing Great Britain's Union Jack with the Nigerian flag. Thanks to the hard work of the nation's founding fathers, Sulaiman Rigachukun, who interviewed some notable Nigerians, we were fortunate to witness the lowering of the Union Jack and hoisting of the national flag, now reports.
Iconic passion and determination in the struggle for independence in Nigeria was selfless and nationalistic. Educational, youth and professional associations, most notable of the Northern People's Congress, formed by late Sir Ahmadu Bello in 1951, which later joined NCNC of Nnamdi Azikiwe for Nigeria's independence from the British, was among many that played key role in the struggle. Sir Ahmadu Bello served as the first premier of Northern Nigeria until his assassination in 1966. He was also the leader of the Northern People's Congress. Founding fathers had clear vision of developing the region, which saw the creation of Northern Nigeria Development Company (NNDC), Bank of the North, New Nigeria newspapers, the textiles, multicast outfits, educational development, among other key sectors. Among their greatest achievements is the unification and modernization of the northern region.
I mean, he didn't do this as the premier, no. He said that when his minister works. So there was modernization policy. Any other, regardless of tribe, creed, or religion. If he is able to go with a good secondary, he will be sent anywhere in the world to go and get degree, diploma, whatever.
They put Nigeria first, and they competed. When we were running regional government, they competed among themselves to see that one region is far ahead of the other in terms of social, economic, and political development.
So they, as much as possible, make sure they unite this country. But currently, at the moment, you realize that the country is like being divided along ethnic line, along religion line, which doesn't mean well for the unity of this country.
As Nigeria marks the 62nd anniversary of independence, stakeholders say entrenching responsible leadership, patriotic zeal and selfless service, as exemplified by the past heroes, is a duty upon all, irrespective of parochial or other divisive considerations. Sulaiman Rigachukun, NTA News.
And an advocacy group in Kogi State, New Tribe Hope Alive movement, has joined Nigerians to celebrate Nigeria at 62 with messages of hope for a better Nigeria. Deborah Iyola Samuel reports.
The Hope Alive New Tribe Group is a pro-Nigerian group that emphasizes the need to act as positive minds and keep hope alive about Nigeria. The celebration of Nigerians' independence is among other programs the group identifies with to promote unity and peace.
62 years is small when you're talking about the lifespan of a nation. So we still have a lot to go. And I can say very much that, look, we are laying a good foundation. It may not look so rosy, but there's so much to look forward to.
The gathering by the group members to mark the 62nd anniversary of Nigeria started small, but grew bigger with the involvement of Kogi State Youth Corps members.
We felt it is important for us to come out as a Nigerian to come and amplify the unity of this country.
The work ended at the Buhari Square with Kogi State government functionaries participating.
This is where we have a government that is embracing all ethnicities across the country. So that should be the spirit.
The message is for Nigerians to keep hope alive. In Lokoja, Deborah Iyola Samuel, NT News.
And still on the 62nd independence anniversary, many groups are celebrating the occasion in different ways for Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries. Region 43, Nyanya, it is time to share with the needy in their host communities. Ekene Nduli reports.
It is often said that a little help with a little smile gives meaning to human life. Giving meaning to the lives of the needy in the suburb of Nyanya is what Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries set out to achieve in the Take Them a Meal outreach. They have invited residents to the palace of the traditional ruler to share messages of hope. Food items and educational materials were also part of the goodies in their kitty.
Since we came in here, we realized that there have been no crisis, we had peace, so we decided to come visit the palace chief, and just to appreciate what they have been doing and to also show our own Christ love. The idea is to extend the love of God, to showcase the love of God that He has given to us. God has given us Himself as love as Jesus Christ, so we're equally extended to humanity.
The residents are appreciative of the gesture, which has become an annual ritual.
We see the item where they give it to us. In fact, we really appreciate. This is not the first time they are giving.
Prayers for healings and peace in the country came with a palpable hope for a better Nigeria. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Away from that celebration, a political movement tagged Ashiwaju Project Beyond 2023 has taken a bold step in wooing more support for Tinubu Shetima's ticket for 2023 presidency. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shetima's presidential ticket on the platform of All Progressives Congress APC is fast gathering momentum. This time around, the Asiwaju Project Beyond 2023 is mobilizing Nigerians to stand on the mandate of APC presidential candidate.
Asiwaju is not centered on ethnicity. When we saying we must vote for you. It's in the political. They have no record of discrimination between tribal groups in Nigeria. They have demonstrated capacity to develop education, develop the economy. Grassroots.
When it comes to gender issues, we all know that Jagaban is not biased on that. And you can see even his wife is a politician. She's somebody that encourages women to get involved into politics.
The group says it is working out modalities to encourage massive participation of Nigerians in APC campaign at all levels, with success in sight come 2023. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
And the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has resolved to end the internal squabbles within the party soon. The resolution was made at a peace-building meeting between the board members and the party's vice presidential candidates and Delta State Governor Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The Senator Adolphus Wabara-led Board of Trustees of the PDP met with the vice presidential candidate Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa with Abuja.
We will be meeting with the principal, anytime from now, and from there we will then move to meet Governor Wike. There's still a little work to be done, but a lot has been done, and we are likely reconciled. There are still issues to be dealt with, and that's why you've seen the visit of the leaders of the party, the Board of Trustees. We have had very useful discussions on what they could do and what we ought to continue to do as a party.
The acting chairman of the PDP BOT, Senator Adolphus Wabara, under the banner of PDP BOT Special Reconciliation Committee, has been visiting the party's leaders and stakeholders towards resolving the ongoing crisis rocking the PDP. Meanwhile, the executive members of the PDP New Generation, led by their Director General Audu Mahmoud, allow democracy to flourish for the benefit of all, emphasizing that the PDP New Generation has a formidable structure across the country and remains committed to the task of delivering 5 million votes to the Atiku Okowa ticket and success of all PDP candidates across Nigeria. The committee enjoined PDP members to embrace peace and unity of purpose. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, youths in Edo's Dependence Rally in demonstration of their support for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, Awuni Okoli reports.
They are from the various groups on the Labour Party in pursuit of a common cause of purposeful leadership. They bear same identity and mostly youths who have decided to make a difference. They converged on the city centre in Ringwood, Benin City, defying the early morning rains, chanting solidarity songs. The obedience are seen canvassing for the candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as they celebrate Nigeria's independence in customized wares. They say their candidate has all that it takes to make Nigeria great again through the provision of basic amenities and economic revival of the country.
Our decision to deliver Obi Dati in 2023 is not on social media. It is physically on ground. We mean business. This is a statement that we are making. It is time. And we are coming into the center of things. The people have to change the narratives because the government belongs to the people. The message to Nigeria is that they should go and cast their votes. They should not sell their votes.
Similar rallies took place across Edo Central in support of Peter Obi's candidacy.
Our future is bright with the dawn of Obi.
While hoping to sustain the push, the youth solicits the support and prayers of Nigerians for the desired victory in the 2023 polls. In Benin, Auli Okolo, NTA.
Part of preparations for his presidential campaign, Ijoma Ozemena reports.
The new Nigerian People's Party presidential candidate commenced his campaign with the official inauguration of his campaign office in the state. He was accompanied by the governorship candidate of the party in Bauchi State, Haliru Dauda Jika, and other NNPP stalwarts who accorded him a rousing welcome.
And directors. Our politics is on the ground, not in the air.
Rabi Mosakonkoso came into Plateau State to commission our offices and also to pay some visits to some stakeholders in the state and also to meet with the Plateau people and also to introduce our party officially and also to let our people know in the state that NNPP, that's New Nigerian People's Party, has come to stay in Plateau State.
The NNPP presidential flag bearer who addressed the media felicitates with Nigerians on the 62nd independence anniversary of the country, urging more would be achieved. He also encouraged all to be steadfast, patriotic, and maintain peace ahead of the 2023 general elections in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
In other, Shintano has restated the commitment of the organization to partner Nigeria in the establishment and provision of funding for the Faculty of African Aviation and Aerospace University in Nigeria, the first of its kind in Africa for training managers in aviation industry. ICAO President gave assurance when Nigeria's Minister of Aviation Hardis Rika led the country's delegation to the 41st General Assembly of the organization to his office at the ICAO headquarters in Montreal, Canada, where he promised to support the manpower needs of member nations in order to save and manage the ever-expanding aviation industry. Similarly, Qatari Minister of Transportation is also excited to partner with Nigeria through provision of some funding and training of its manpower in the university. You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time to head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by with some reports. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome to Lagos. Imports and exports, but adopted the proverbial dictum of removing hindrance to the source of one's wealth, as seen in the case of Apapa, where there are constant initiatives aimed at eliminating impediments to the flow of business traffic.
Far back in 1880, the Lagos port has earned the appellation of the Liverpool of Africa. This is not just because of its dominance in maritime trade in the region, but majorly because it is the shortest route to the international waters. With increase in the volume of trade comes congestion in yard occupancy, thereby building of traffic within the Apapa corridor, which was further compounded by the poor state of roads then. Apart from reducing government's revenue from the corridor by 6 trillion naira in 2019, according to the organized private sector, Nigeria started losing its volume of cargoes to neighboring West African countries.
There's a syndicate making money from these from this problem, and until government gets to the root of it, nothing is going to work in Apapa.
The zeal to change the tide has remained consistent, with the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurating various interventions. The first step was the constitution of a presidential task force team headed by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The Federal Safety Corps on its part constituted a minimum safety standards for articulated vehicles plying the road.
If we have the minimal standard coming in, then we don't expect frequent breakdown of trucks either within the port or along the corridor. So that will definitely ease congestion within the port.
Some individuals without genuine businesses. This led to the removal of shanties and putting in place of an electronic call-up system known as ITO.
We will keep automating that, we will keep tweaking the system until we get it perfect. We are likely to, create a second app. It's just to create competition and also give people alternative.
While all of these are yielding results with businesses, Port Access Rules Initiative, and the end is justifying the means by the testimonies.
Now they do not allow. Now you can boast of loading a container in a day or in 24 hours, and the goods is at the warehouse.
The team has successfully opened up their Papa Trade Corridor, while Air Force,
Maritime Administration and Safety Agency NIMASA must also sustain its support for the national economy by ramping up its revenue generation drive. Minister of Transportation Wazu Sambo stated this during a day inspection visit to the corporate headquarters of NIMASA in Lagos. Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
Attempt to try to generate reports to management having them the number of police systems.
Speaking after inspecting the Maritime Stakeholders Experience Contact Center and the Ship Registry at NIMASA, the minister, who was accompanied by the Minister of State for Transportation, Ademola Adegoroye, and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Magdalene Ajani, lauded ongoing initiatives, including implementation of the Blue Economy Roadmap and the Deep Blue Project to ensure maritime safety by the agency. Training of seafarers to enhance capacity, harnessing wreck removal to generate revenue, and asset management of the Deep Blue project are some of the areas where the minister made demands for improvements.
The minister has already taken steps to be very supportive of the position. And also the certificate has been issued, and the minister is supposed to be taking some action on this.
Assuring the Minister of NIMASA's commitment to the realization of its mandate, the Director General said apart from training over 2,000 Nigerians in various areas of the maritime sector and maintaining about 600 special forces in the Deep Blue project, the agency is also improving standard in revenue generation.
Last year, I think we gave up to 32 billion to powers. We haven't received
The visit by the Transportation Minister is coming on the heel of the 2022 World Maritime Day celebration, where stakeholders in the maritime sector converged on Lagos to mark the annual event. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide will continue with Zimrat Angels after this time out. To stay on.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been informed, educated, and entertained on when you needed information, knowledge, or an explain.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized. This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. We've served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tnawards.ng and follow social media handles TNP Awards.
Harmony of biodiversity destroyed.
both in climate crisis and crime phases.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, comb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions.
Examining challenges and opportunities.
Giving human face to the science, facts, fixed and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA Eco reporters for Environment Matters.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Governor Simon Lalong says the task of building a nation is a collective responsibility of citizens, and this must be pursued with courage, understanding, love, unity and tolerance. The governor said this in Jos at a dinner to mark Nigeria's 62nd independence anniversary. Priscilla Gona reports.
The dinner attracted key players in Plateau State to celebrate Nigeria at 62 in appreciation of the goodness of God on the nation. Governor Simon Lalong says in appreciation of sacrifices made by past leaders, citizens must rise above parochial interest and work towards building a greater nation. He appeals to citizens of the state to continue to love one another and ensure democratic ideals thrive as the nation begins electioneering campaigns.
This should enable us to challenge to manage the growth rate of candidates and their party to continue to make the right person for those to be able to find levels in elective offices. We will allow people to track and avoid family members of health and vision.
Messages of goodwill from members of the national and state houses of assembly, judiciary, had the need for citizens to build on the nation's diversity as a source of national development. Other key players emphasize for all hands to be on deck and work collectively for the growth and prosperity of the nation. In Jos, Priscilla Gumman, NTA News.
The General Officer Commanding 3 Division, Major General Ibrahim Ali, has charged commanders in 3 Division to ensure resources at Bureau of Army Financial Management and Audit. Brigadier General Raymond Oche in Jos. Caleb Kuchin has the details.
General Officer Commanding 3 Division said the Bureau of Army Financial Management and Audit is an accounting arsenal capabilities of troops.
I want to tell commanders, we hear your advice, but we should make efficient use of resources based on your care.
The Acting Director General, Bureau of Army Finance Management and Audit, said the visit is to intimate the GOC on the third quarterly audit.
I will not only plead with our organization that we should be able to ensure for something at the silver and we will try to survive the change.
Commended to the GOC for laudable projects at the division and urged him to sustain the good works.
That's our contribution from Justice. Back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more reports.
Thank you so much. Election umpire as well as security agencies is critical in ensuring a seamless transition to another administration through the ballot in Kebbi State. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
With the commencement of the electioneering campaigns by those aspiring for elective posts in the forthcoming elections, the coming together of ACT, the one-day engagement is geared toward exchanging ideas, in particular reminding journalists what is expected of them in their reportage. Stakeholders in attendance strongly advise the need for the press to be more
security agencies to interact and understand operations running and after elections.
It's only a reminder for us to be up and doing and to be also observing our ethics and law in discharging our duties.
The forum agreed to cooperate in ensuring a hate-free election. The workshop was rounded up with questions and answers. And Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Now that campaigns for the 2023 elections have kicked off, politicians have been advised to make their campaigns issue-based and present sound and convincing proposals on alternative solutions to issues that have utmost concern to Nigerians. The advice is from the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The candidates to look at their background.
The Civil Society Situation Room believes that even in the face of the new Electoral Act, the various laws of the land and the penal code must be adhered strictly to within the electioneering campaign period. Situation Room resolved to closely monitor all the electioneering campaigns by political parties and their candidates.
That going to 2023, we are going to be watching keenly who is violating and what laws, who have been held, that the activities of party supporters on the social media, we have observed that and advised supporters to this.
Center for Transparency Advocacy is a civil society watchdog expecting the peace and unity of the country.
We expect that the political atmosphere will be and convince Nigerians to vote for their candidates based on sound proposals of alternative solutions to the issues that are utmost concern to Nigerians.
The 2023 political activities seriously, stating that it would greatly determine a lot in the nation's destiny. Trading on votes is anti-democratic. The youth therefore advised to play according to the rules. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide, let's join Jenny in Port Harcourt. Nice to see you, Jenny.
To Elizabeth. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says deliberate efforts should be made by government at all levels to strengthen our institutions and shun acts that prevent the nation from enjoying robust democratic practice. Ogedinyekwe reports that this was at the 62nd Independence Anniversary celebration in Rivers State.
That was the governor inspecting the guard of honor by the Nigerian Police River State Command. The parade theme of the River State Police Command set the ball rolling with their fascinating quick and slow march past. Governor Wike said, in spite of the challenges, Nigeria has achieved some visible developmental strides and economic progress as Africa's largest economy. He said the fact that the country has remained one is worth celebrating. He, however, scored Rivers State government high in project delivery. He said he remains grateful to Rivers people for electing and supporting him pilot the affairs of the state, just as he noted that this will be his last Independence Day speech as governor.
After 62 years, Nigeria deserves more than what it has achieved, and Nigerians likewise deserve much more than what their leaders have delivered to them for the country's enormous natural and human resources.
The symbolic release of the white pigeons signifying peace was also observed in Port Harcourt. Ogedi Ikwe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the 62nd independence anniversary of Nigeria took a different twist in Calabar as the NNS victory extended its corporate social responsibility to the people of Ikorodu in Abuja local government area of
Rhapsody offered free blood pressure check, hepatitis B and diabetes screening, malaria testing and treatment, as well as dental and eye care services. The people of Ikorodu Odo community were overwhelmed with joy.
I have the eye problem. They have tested me and they give me glass for me to use it, and as I'm standing now, I am seeing very clearly.
I can see very clearly. They have done normal. They have overdue things we have never seen this type of a thing. They have helped us.
The medical rhapsody, which is in line with the vision of the Chief of Naval Staff, is aimed at improving the welfare of people in its catchment area, and it is done in collaboration with Calabar Keman City Lions Club.
We are to have this relationship between the civil populace and also the military, to let them know that we are all Nigerians, to let them know that we are also here for them. In as much as we are protecting them, we are also taking care of their health. And as we all know, health is wealth. If we are alive today, it's for the betterment of the country and also the...
Outreach also featured health talk and distribution of insecticide-treated mosquito nets to the people. From Abuja local government area of Cross River State, Maureen Leo Ajong, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. Nationwide will continue in Makudi after the break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate youth. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media before ease or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security 908-837-3514 or send a mail to dsspr@dss.
What are we doing as a nation to first of all settle our teeming populace, especially NTA's political package, with a third eye on the nation's political scene? I'm Fisao.
You have to be very careful giving space to people who are obviously sponsored to further the agenda of some other groups.
We have a lot of questions. In fact, between June 1st and July 17, 19.something billion has left the coffers of the NDC.
I can say my constituency, they need everything because we don't have anything.
State Governor Samuel Otom said there is hope for a better Nigeria on the platter of equity, justice and fairness in the quality. The governor stated this during an
in Masi. Charles Abba reports.
On October 1, 1960, the British Union Jack, which was a symbol of its lordship over Nigeria, was lowered, giving way for the hoisting of the Nigerian flag.
We sincerely apologize. We can't continue with our studio in Makurdi. The studio seems to be having issues with their audio. The Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, has conducted its 2022 National Assessment of Learning Achievement in Basic Education test. The test is used to gauge the system of basic education in terms of standards and quality through testing of learners in primary and junior secondary schools in the country. Olayinka Ojo reports.
UNICEF statistics show that Nigeria is currently experiencing learning crisis in which more than 70% of school children cannot read or perform numeracy tasks. And it is to address the challenge of achieving learning outcomes at the fundamental level that the National Assessment of Learning Achievements in Basic Education was created.
The exam is simple and it's very interesting. It's fun. I love writing exams.
One interesting thing about the assessment is that it is in different types. This is because even though the students are writing the same examination, the numbering of the questions are different.
The whole idea is to determine to assess learning. Are our children going to school? Are they learning?
The test items, we are very, very satisfied with the way it is and how the children are also engaging with it. Of course, there are one or two things, but I believe that we are, of course, overcoming all of that.
The National Assessment of Learning Achievements in Basic Education is organized by UBEC every 3 years in 4 course subjects. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
To food safety now, the quality and standard of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program across schools in the Federation is expected to improve with the completion of a 1-week intensive safety standard training for supervisors in Abuja. At the closing ceremony of the training facilitated by the National Institute of Tourism Professionals of Nigeria, participants drawn from the 36 states and the FCT are thrilled on extensive food safety measures and healthy environment for the Homegrown School Feeding Program in Nigeria.
Well, see, the program is a national one. I can see we draw trainers and trainees from over the country to ensure that we have each state got enough people to train the cooks. Secondly, to ensure that the quality of food delivery is actually up to scratch, and to ensure that the standard is uncompromised.
The cooks must know what they are cooking, must know that they are appropriate for the children, and that they should do it in an appropriate environment.
The supervisors said they have been fully equipped to carry out daily inspection for a healthy and clean environment where foods are prepared.
This is for the first time for me that things are going to work out. We are beginning to have a plan that will work out to root poverty out of the country, Nigeria.
For me to continue to do the good work where they do, when should say the President Muhammadu Buhari truly we won't help the poor masses.
The trained supervisors are to utilize knowledge acquired in their respective communities. The Nigerian Academy of Medicine has restated its commitment to the promotion of policies for good health in Nigeria. This was re-emphasized at the Academy's 2022 annual lecture and induction ceremony in Abuja. Salwa Khalid Ibrahim reports.
Beyond formulating policies, especially that of health, funding is a major catalyst in realization of any policy. This, among other issues, formed the thrust of the annual meeting of the Nigerian Academy of Medicine.
Improving the funding and the services, because you cannot improve the services without adequate funding. If you have to clean up a primary health care center, you need money. The personnel are there. The level of attention to details are on there. But they need the leadership to ensure that things are done, that Nigeria is peaceful.
Significant strides have been made in the development of the health sector. However, government is committed to doing more and supporting the academy for the overall development of the health sector.
The federal government has continued to invest in the health sector by recently embarking on massive infrastructure development and support in clinical services, and desirous of collaborating with the Nigerian Academy of Medicine in strengthening the sector for the progress of the nation.
The theme 2023 and beyond, setting the agenda. 50 new fellows were inducted into the academy with the launch of the journal. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
The renewed synergy between Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service, other security operatives and the border communities has led to the increase in revenue generation and suppressing of smuggling activities within the axis. Shehu Adamu reports.
The axis of Libya International Border, being one of the major gateway to the Republic of Niger from Nigeria, is before now witnessing security challenges, leading to low level of import and export along the corridor. However, with the collaborative strategies put in place along the route, coupled with the cooperation of the border community, Katsina Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service recorded an export of over 20,000 tons from 15th of August to date, against the over 10,000 tons of export recorded the previous month.
Under review, we had a total of 124,896,718.27 kobo. Collected with the significant was a significant increase of 25,119,375 naira 25 kobo.
While commending other security operatives and border community for their support and understanding in intelligence gathering, Controller Al-Hawada Chedi also explained that 15 vehicles were intercepted as either being smuggled into the country or served as means of conveying the contraband. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Now to child protection, the federal government has made a move to transfer children rescued by operatives to child protection authorities in support of their reintegration into the society. This follows the handover protocol agreement signed between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, United Nations Systems in Nigeria and the UNICEF country office in Abuja. Gadba Mohammed Natala reports.
Owing to conflicts in Nigeria's northeast and Lake Chad Basin region, resulted to the displacement of many children associated in armed conflicts. They are now considered by the Nigerian government for their proper integration back into the society through educational and psychosocial support. The measure put in place is culminating from the signing of the agreement to protect the rights of children under the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Oyama and the Permanent Secretary of Women Affairs Aliyu Shinkafi acknowledged that it signals the handover of those children rescued by the military and transferred to several child protection authorities.
In spite of the fact that wars also affect adults, children are unfortunately too often the direct but powerless victims of the horrors committed against their families.
A total of 4,204 rescued children were in the custody of the military, 2,886 males and 1,338 females, so far been released and received by social welfare services in Maiduguri, according to the UNICEF representative.
UNICEF is looking very much forward to work with all the stakeholders at all levels, in all the sectors, to reduce the impact of the conflict on children and achieve results for them in Nigeria.
Finalizing this agreement records a positive milestone for government's determination towards protecting vulnerable children and addressing their plight in the country. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army 34 Artillery Brigade, Opinze, Imo State, has handed over suspected human traffickers and an 18-month-old baby rescued from an illegal orphanage based in River State to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. Beatrice Ayin reports.
These are suspected child traffickers arrested by officers of the Nigerian Army 34 Artillery Brigade, Opinze, Imo State. Rescued by the officers is an 18-month-old baby, among other victims. Two of the suspects, according to the Nigerian army, specialize in stealing of children from Imo State and selling them to their accomplice who resides in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The suspect, who is alleged to be an operator of a baby factory under the guise of an orphanage home, had this 23-year-old lady, who is 9 months pregnant, in custody, while the victims have been handed over to the state commander NAPTIP, Ernest Obu, who has reunited some of them with their families. He commends the Nigerian army and other security agencies who have been collaborating with NAPTIP in the fight against human trafficking. The state commander further charges parents on the need for vigilance.
In this case, I've had over a plethora of petitions that have come to me in respect to this thing. People are coming from Anambra, people are coming from Abia. Their children are stolen, their children are stealing. It is these criminal networks that are everywhere doing these things.
The suspects have since been transferred to NAPTIP zonal office in Ugu. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
Victims of flood in Doma local government area of Nasarawa State have continued to seek support from well-meaning individuals and corporate bodies to relieve their suffering. Abai Solomon visited the community.
Hundreds of people, mostly farmers, were rendered homeless by the recent flood which destroyed their homes, valuables and washed away farmlands. Hunger, lack of clean drinking water, sickness, anxiety and depression besiege the displaced persons, especially the elderly, women and children. However, Rice Company Olam put a smile on their faces with medical support, food and other household items to over 2,000 affected persons from various communities taking refuge in Apanaja.
And I'm very glad to collect these drugs from Olam's company because it's not easy and it's very, very difficult for somebody to carry his own property to come and give to the poor people.
Coordinator Distribution Committee Dr. Umar Ismaila said it is part of their corporate social responsibility to the host community and promised to sustain it. Olam had earlier provided SOCO to another set of victims in Rukubi community. Abari Solomon, NTA News.
And next, some sporting stories.
All is now set for the Southwest Zonal elimination among the 6 states of the zone for this year's National Sports Festival after stakeholders meeting in Ibadan.
Southwest Zone are very strongly prepared to compete for the 2 slots that will participate at the 21st National Sports Festival.
Jerry Wellington has emerged winner of the Abuja National Scrabble Open, which ended Sunday at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. Wellington recorded 12 wins with a +477 cumulative spread to win the trophy, with Emmanuel Omojose coming second with 10 victories of 515 cumulation, while Ezine George finished third with 10 wins and 546 cumulation.
I'm happy to have been to spearhead the group that is going to the African Championship, and I can promise Nigerians that we will give our best and hopefully come back with the trophy.
Those we currently chose to represent us in Zambia have also proven that they were well chosen because 7 of them came tops in the Masters category.
Golf, more than 400 players from Nigeria and the international community kicked off the Independence Day tournament at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja, in commemoration of Nigeria at 62, where handicap 26 player Babajide Ashebu won with a net of 62. The week-long activity targets increasing the golfing density, offering another platform to showcase Nigerian positive image and promote local content of art and culture.
We are also having children clinic, which we term Catch Them Young, and we have a tournament for junior category.
We're still together, united Nigeria. Everybody is passionate, doing something for Nigeria.
And finally, Aqua United Football Club defeated Katsina United 2-1 in a friendly match played to inaugurate the Eket Sports Stadium in Eket local government area of Akwa Ibom State. John Paul Alumina reports that the construction of the standard football pitch will further develop football at the grassroots. With Sports Update, Badi Adeleye.
NTA News.
In sports update with Bade ends nationwide today. Thank you so much for your time. Do remember to always take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good evening.
Social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless. It becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
And welcome to another amazing edition of your weekend.
I'm telling you, it has to be heat and it has to be steamy, it has to be hot. But we decided that, somebody has to tell a story that is family oriented.
That's all to fight you. Welcome to another edition of Talking Movie. Was everyone ever cared about?
See, when you say poor, you can't call water. You don't excavate water.
This is a #1 program, Gallery. Do you love to gist or gossip?
It is extremely wrong. I love it.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Whip and Grill. Welcome to the slant today, where we say it as it is and we get to enjoy ourselves talking about various things that are happening in our society.
Beyond 6 packs. So your job still remains as the man. To protect the woman, to project the woman. You need to do that.
If you get to see the way telling about the post this, don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and is.
The ideal that is can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of.
Congratulations, you were able to sign to right now from our day website.
Take your time before you walk out.
People have used that phone, you need to talk to those that a lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
This is the network service of the NTA.
welcome once again to Abrahamic Vision. My name is Imam Fuad Adeyemi, and today, like I told you, this is a special edition, and we have gotten very, very special people who you do not need, I don't need to even mention their name before you know, especially one, our Baba whose face is known for everything that is peace. And if you have been watching Abrahamic Vision, the moment you see his face, you say, okay, he has come back to his own program. Join me in welcoming Cardinal John Olorunfemi Onayeka, the face of peace in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Imam. And God bless you viewers, and may God bless our nation, Nigeria.
And I have also a very big fish who, incidentally, he is an academician, he's a clergy, and he is former national president of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. He's a professor of Arab Islamic. I think that is the name he is now, and is the immediate past dean of the Faculty of Arts, University of Ibadan. Join me in welcoming Professor Abdulhafiz Oladosu to Abrahamic Vision.
Thank you for this opportunity, my compatriots. I say congratulations on this year's independence anniversary. We pray for a better Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Like we usually do, we will be discussing religion and national development. What's wrong with us? Why is religion our problem? And perhaps my first question, my first message that I will be reading, we actually ask the same question. I will be happy if you listen carefully to this man from Kebbi State. He said Nigeria is said to be one of the most religious countries in the world, and coincidentally the most corrupt. Is there any direct correlation between religion and corruption? Is religion shielding corrupt people? He said Ajuba Didi from Kebbi State. For I don't know whether you listen to that.
I've listened to it, yes. And he's not the first person making those, who has been making those observations. Okay. Because it is something we need to deal with. And I don't think there's any of us who claim to be religious leader who can close his or her eyes to this reality, which is, shall we say, like an anomaly. Religion, to the extent that it is dealing with God, has to be good, honest, the opposite of corruption. What it does mean, and maybe we shall discuss further, is that we really do have to focus on what exactly do you mean by religion. Okay. And I have the feeling we must also admit that religion takes different shapes and forms, and you can almost say there are many kinds of religion. Right? And so you cannot just make a general statement about religion. You cannot say religion, when you say religion shields corruption, you are making sweeping statements. You have to decide, you have to be more specific.
Okay.
Because there are also many people whose life have been guided aright by the religions that they profess. And they will let you know that. And in any case, the fact that religion is still thriving very much in the world of our days must be that there's something in it that humanity needs.
Yeah, to ventilate that perspective the more, I have had reasons to appeal to our compatriots not to celebrate this negative construction of the Nigerian. Let's stop marketing, celebrating on these conclusions that are contestable. All these data they keep banding around, keep shouting Nigeria is the most corrupt. I am not corrupt. I as a Nigerian am not corrupt. So you have to exclude me and exclude further. So I mean that's key.
I agree with you. I agree with you. There's even one somebody said to me on the WhatsApp, a policeman between Ishenyi and Ojo.
Yeah.
His car got spoiled. Mm-hmm. He wanted to change the tire. And that's why some policemen come. He has been trying to stop people. Stop for him. So that's why some police people, some policemen. So they came and they helped him. They assisted him. He gave us and said, "No, we're doing our work."
Yeah, it happened in a banner.
So I'm surprised, and I said, I must also mention it. So that does not mean, even if you say police are not good, I think we have seen policemen that are very good.
Yeah, so
thank you. I think that's a very good one.
Yeah.
This one say, good evening, respected gentlemen. You are doing well, and to wish you could be having session or conversation with our politician, especially those in the helms of affairs of power. I have personally met 2 Christians who permanently have primats for people like us that are Muslim that do visit them, and they know we always pray by gap of hours. Like I always say, if God Almighty wanted all of us to be Muslim or Christian or any other religion, He will have done so. May God Almighty continue to guide and protect you all. Amin. Umar Abdullah from FCT. Let me continue. Or maybe you have anything, but I continue. No, Assalamu alaikum, my fellow missioners. Kudos for the job well done. By the way, I wish you extend this mission beyond media, that is TV and radio, to town hall lectures. Muhammad Salisu Sudangi from Zaria. I assure you, by God's grace, we are going to 4 states physically. We will go to Sokoto, we go to Plateau State, we go to Oyo State, and we end it up in Abuja. By God's grace, it's going to be physical, it's going to be town hall, as you rightly mentioned. But if we get more support, we are still going to expand it the more. But that is what we have now, and that's us. By God's grace, by the end of this month, we will start it.
This is probably practically the same thing as saying that discussions like this should be expanded as much as possible, brought to the grassroots level, and Imam Fuad alone cannot do it. Through the Abrahamic mission, there's a limit to how much you can do. What it does mean is that others who are in a position to do something like this should not hesitate to mount their own program. May I say that we just came back this week from Lagos, where we had the 3rd quarter of this year's NIREC meeting, Nigerian Religious Council, and this was one of the issues that was raised. Yes, how can we bring what we might consider interreligious discussion, dialogue, conversation down to the grassroots level, and not just leaving it with the intellectuals or academicians or the imams and the pastors alone. Everybody is maybe actually people are actually talking. They are talking among themselves.
Yes, let me give you an example, sir. There is a place in Edo State. When they watch this program, they watch it in the palace, and there is a man who we always translate to everybody in the palace.
Okay.
So to let you know that, well, like you rightly mentioned, we need to scale it down the more, but so many efforts have been put in place. By God's grace, I know we'll get there, sir. This man said, "Good day, men of God." He said, "I like the program very much. May God give you people more wisdom to put us through." I'm Ishak Wambai from Oyo State. Thank you, sir. And I said, "Good evening, gentlemen. I wish other TV stations will emulate your integration. We play a good role. May Allah reward you all." Say, "Dear sir, I like and enjoy your NTA program, Abrahamic Mission. Even in the early up to mid-80s, there was an interreligious movement known as Islam Hub. I was a young pastor by then. In order to bring unity among the 3 religions by then, I don't have anything of it again. Say, thanks to the NTA for giving us this type of program, sir. Uplifting the people and uniting the nation. And keep it up, sir. Shalom. Masalam. Reverend Ajibade Phillips from Iwere Ile.
Where we are away. I know I heard about the place. It's almost on the border with Benin Republic.
Yeah, you haven't been there.
No, I've not been there. But I think my Archbishop of Ibadan is from there. Abiguni is from that area.
Those are our people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. As you know, the issue of discussing religion and talking about differences and other things, it has many dimensions. Yeah, I'm more interested first in admitting the differences.
Naturally,
But at the same time, realizing that we have also a lot of commonalities. It is my conviction that the things that we have in common are far more important than the things that separate us. Unfortunately, it's often the things that separate us that we tend to use to define ourselves. In other words, like, I'm a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. But yeah, there's more to you than being not a Muslim. You're a Christian. When are you? So when we look at this positively, that is only then we begin to discover the great beauties. We should not underestimate the fact that anybody who says, I believe in God, I can relate with him.
Okay.
I'm not even asking who is your God, because for me there's only one God.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Let me continue. This one says, good evening, sir. I'm lifted by this topic of tolerance. I believe if Nigerian Christians, Muslims can come together and live peacefully, our society will go at large. I don't know what you mean by that. Victoria Eleojo from Benin City. Neyman says, I'm Abubari Moshefiu Akikume from Odeomu, Osun State.
People be that.
We call Odeomu the city of the living legend.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. And then I say, the Holy Quran clearly stresses the importance of religious freedom. There is no compulsion in the matters of religion. Faith is an individual concern and commitment between you and your God. Our governments cause problems amongst each religion. I don't know what's meant by our government causes problem. This one say, good evening. He said, wow, that's the way the person writes. He said, God Almighty will surely be with you all, particularly our own beloved Archbishop, sir. Let us pray to God Almighty, the one and only all-knowing God, to give us the best, sir. The three of you, sir, should be given national award. I don't like talking about that. Let God give that award. I said, this one say, good evening, sir. I really enjoy your program. It is very, very informative and educative. I learned from this program greatly. Please sustain it. I said, greeting to you all, and God bless you for wonderful program like this. Our nation is in need of it.
May I call back to what Professor Afis said, namely that we should stop celebrating negativities and look for the good things that are happening, which are many.
There are many.
And one of the things from the observations you are reading is to give the impression that Nigerian Christians and Muslims are not tolerant of each other and say it as if that is a normal thing. For me, I can't just understand.
It's normal.
It's not like that. My experience and the people I meet and those who I see, the Christians and Muslims, they generally are living their lives together. Not even up to even the same families. Up to even the same family. So there are cases of terrible intolerance. There are places where people hate the other because they are not of the same religion. But I think we should put those people in their own
perspective.
These are exceptions. They are exceptions and not the rule. Because if we don't, we are doing a disservice to ourselves.
You are going to tell us this more, because I'm really, really interested, sir. Perhaps with what you are explaining, and it's based on your experience as you are growing up during your mission, and even up to now. So I think we will actually be interested in listening to you. You can be part of this program too by sending your WhatsApp messages and SMS to this number 070-449-44949. Is on your screen as you are watching. But please do not call. When you call, you are interfering with what we are reading. Please, and please don't call. Just send messages and we will read it by God's grace. Don't go. We want to go on a short break now. Then after the break, we'll now discuss our main topic of the day. you are just joining us, this is Abraham, and this is a special independent edition that we are looking at what role has religion be playing in the development of our nation. Can a nation develop because of its religiosity or not develop because of religiosity? And that is what we are discussing today, religion and national development. And thank God we are in the studio with those who have seen it all, especially Cardinal John Olorunfemi Onayeka. Once again, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Imam.
And we have Professor Nafis Oladosu, who he has fought it, he has worked it, he has been involved in it, and he's still doing it. We want to welcome you right from far from Ibadan. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you once again for this opportunity to rub minds on our common unity challenges facing us as a nation and finding ways to overcoming them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We are Nigeria is marking our 62 independence anniversary today, and the impression we had generally is like Muslims are Christians. They don't see face to face. They are enemy. They are this. They are that. Briefly, sir, how was it when you are growing up? Relations between Muslim and Christian. Incidentally, you are a northerner.
Or a southerner.
No, he's a northerner.
Or a southerner.
Southerner. Imam,
yes, sir.
Let us just leave it there. Because north-south is already anachronistic. This north-south made sense where we had northern Nigeria and eastern Nigeria and western Nigeria. Since we broke up those blocks into states, we are no longer talking in those terms. And in any case, even when we were in northern Nigeria, I'm from Kaba. We are Yorubas, and I remember very much. Awolowo used to come to campaign in our area, and telling us we should leave this Okoeru tower. His language made us angry because we didn't feel like we were in Okoeru. Okoeru means slavery. Slavery. We did not feel we were in slavery, even though we felt that we didn't really belong to the north. We are not Hausa speakers. We belong to Yoruba
thought space.
But anyway, to come to your question, I thank God I had positive experience of getting to live with Islam and no Muslims. I thank God for positive personal experience of living together. I also thank God that at a very important period in my own theological formation, I got impacted by our Catholic teaching on interfaith relationship, which broadened our mind in a way that was not there a generation earlier. I went to Rome the very year that our Second Vatican Council ended, 1965, and I studied with the new ideas. And if you read what that council brought out with regard to relationship of our church with other religions, you will be amazed. That's all we are talking about now. So that helped to really train me in a way to be broad-minded with not just with Islam, with other religions, which also means that I'm broad-minded regard to the religion of my ancestors, which some people have refused to call it paganism, because a pagan is somebody who doesn't know God. My grandfather knew God very well. That's their own religion. So we need to open ourselves to realize that we like someone was saying already, if God wanted all of us to be of one religion, he had enough time to do it. That we are different, it is part of his plans that we be different. And I thank God that I've had opportunity to interact with different kinds of people of other religions, but particularly in Nigeria. As a child, I didn't have much to do with Muslims, Kaba is very much a Christian town. We had just one or two Muslim families. I remember in primary school we had only one two Muslim families, and only one of them was a Kabaman. The other one was somebody from Oshobo, Liasu and Ramotago. With secondary school, we had only one Muslim, Sabo Agu, who was a Muslim in our school, in St. Michael's Secondary School, a lady. So at the level of that, we didn't have personal relationship, but we knew about Islam. My experience of Islam came when I became a bishop, and I was posted to Ilorin.
Okay.
You cannot be a bishop in Ilorin without interacting with Muslims. And I learned a lot from the 7 years I spent in Ilorin. I still have friends. Some have died, but many are still alive. I mean, from the Muslim community in Ilorin.
That's why you want to stop.
No, I want to stop. But since Prof is here, my good friend Balogun, AIB Balogun. Okay. May so rest in perfect peace. We were like this. At that time, Oloyede, who is now a big man, was a small lecturer. We're talking of 1983, 84, 85, up to 1990. He was deputy VC of Ilorin, but he was also in charge of the Department of Religions in Ilorin, and was president of our Nigerian Study Association for the Study of Religion. NASIM. And I was very active in that. And that already meant we were talking. We're not fighting each other. We're not, and I believe we should still continue it even now. Because if we don't, well, we leave the field only to the fighters. But they are not the ones who should dictate our relationship.
That's right.
Maybe Prof has something to say.
Well, I have. Prof, just before you read, I wanted to be taking some of the messages as it's coming. But this one say, good evening, sir. I don't know where to start from, but I believe God is taking this country to a better level. I so much love this program. May God continue to bless you. Amen. We say Daniel Amos from Abuja. Mr. Daniel, thank you. Prof, we are listening.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege to be seated with our father, John Oyenefu, who we have read so much, and I've had questions.
My name is Onayeka.
Very instructive. Unlike father, I was born not by choice but by chance to a very scholarly family. Scholarly in the sense that my father was a Muslim, is an Islamic scholar, well grounded in Islamic culture. My mother was an Alaja, again with that consciousness. But as God will have it, I lost my father very early in life. He went to Mecca in 1979. He was destined never to come back from that. As a result of that, I was taken from Elisha, where I was born, to Ikorodu. But again, as God will have it, the school I had to attend was founded by Cherubim and Seraphim Church. And that marked my first close interaction with Christianity. So while I was learning the Quran at home, reading from right to the left, at school I was told to read from the left to the right. While I was reading Surah Al-Fatiha at home, when I got to school, Rimarade Commercial Secondary School at Ikorodu, I was told to read Song of Praise. I've not forgotten since that day one chapter of SOP, which I found. Which one? It says, which one? Is it 315 or something?
Say it, I will
say it. Immortal, invisible, God only wise, enlightening, accessible, from our heights.
SOP. I think it's
most blessed, most glorious, thy ancient of days, almighty, thy great. Each time I read that, I remember Ayatul Kursi. Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allah, there's none but He, ever living, ever alive. Neither sleep nor slumber overtakes Him.
That's the commonality I'm saying.
So for me, interacting with Christianity as a Nigerian is both a necessity and a religious obligation. It's not an option.
My experience very early in life has also impacted my interaction with my colleagues when eventually I became an academic lecturer at the University of Ibadan. We is the great University of Ibadan. The first and the best, whether they like it or not.
Yes, I agree with you.
So that has really impacted my horizon to life. I've learned to relate with everybody the way the Quran has enjoined us to relate with everybody. As I mentioned, it's not by choice that I was born to a Muslim family. Some also were born into Christian family, not by choice. So it was by chance. But choice and chance also have to be situated properly in order for us to understand what we're talking about. You can't say because you are born into a Muslim family by chance, then you want to stay there. You can't say you are born to a Christian family by chance, you also want to stay there. Reality development would dictate that you also want to find meaning in your faith. Eventually I found meaning in Islam, but the more meaning I found in Islam, the more global my horizon became. The more I understand what Islam teaches me as a Muslim, the more I begin to appreciate the other for what the other, for who the other is. So it's such that I do not belong to those, just as Father mentioned, who want to fight. I know that Islam has not taught me to fight. Islam has not taught me to fight the other for the choice they make, for being who they are. So this is key as far as I'm concerned, as far as the faith that I learned, that I've come to appreciate is concerned. So in a nutshell, my experience growing up as a young Muslim with Christian compatriots has been a very wonderful one. It's been one that I've cherished so much. In fact, one of my greatest friends in the past years, and he has a quote that I've used countless times. His name is Aki. One day we were chatting at Lagos. He liked smoking cigarette. When they asked him, Aki, why do you smoke cigarette? He said, Afis, there are pleasures in being mad, which none but the man knows. From that day, I've expanded that theory, and I've discovered that there are pleasures in being mad, actually. Those who engage in unwarranted violence, they are mad. Those who kidnap people for money, they are mad. Those who engage in banditry, they are mad. But the madness is known to them, and they enjoy their pleasure in it. So the point I'm making, given this great opportunity, it's you can't say you're a Muslim when you relate only with your fellow Muslims. No, Islam enjoins us to move out of our cocoon, to appreciate the beauty in others. Islam treats the world like a rainbow. Every rainbow, you can't say that's a rainbow unless there are many colors in it. Color yellow, color green. That's what makes rainbow. And one other thing that I've also learned is that God cannot make mistake. If God cannot commit error, then for me to behave in a violent way with the other who is not a Muslim will mean that I'm telling God that he made a mistake by allowing them to practice a faith other than Islam. If God cannot commit an error, if God cannot commit and make a mistake, it means that by allowing this multiplicity of religions, of faith in the world, that is his design for the world.
Precisely. This is the point we are making. I'm glad you bring it God down. That we must be able to see the hand of God in whatever happens in our lives. Definitely. My motto as a bishop is thy will be done. God's will be done. Thy will be done. In Latin is fiat voluntas tua. And the fiat, I mean, it can be either exhortatory or what they call subjunctive. It can be, may your will be done. But it can also mean your will be done,
whether you like it or not.
And both are true. Now, I live my life then under God's guidance, knowing that whatever happens to me, I try my best to follow God's will. So therefore, what we're speaking about chance
and choice.
Choice. And I will say we should add to that providence. So that what we think is chance may actually be God's own decision.
And it's actually God's decision, because with reference to God, We try first to God. There is only chance.
Yeah.
God does not play.
Yeah, for God has
God doesn't play Ludo.
Yes, for God has only providence. It's not a matter of by chance. Just as you were born into the kind of Muslim family such that you could say you couldn't but be a Muslim eventually. Me too, I came from a very deep Catholic family. My father was the Baba Egbe of the town for 50 years. And I was known everywhere as a Jono Baba Egbe. I'm Yono, the son of the Baba Egbe, meaning the head of the Catholic population, Catholic community in Kaba. And which meant, what it meant is that we woke up every morning at 5 o'clock. We prayed together.
We go to prayer. We call it prayer when we are small.
We prayed together at around 5:30, and immediately we went straight to the church. In the church was close to us for mass at 6 o'clock.
Wow.
As a baby, as a child, that's how I grew up. And so you could say I had no chance. I couldn't but be a Catholic, a Christian. And somehow God added onto that what I consider his love of choosing, giving me the vocation, the call to be a priest, to be who I am. And he has supported me all along. If you can see the hand of God in your life, it is a wonderful thing.
Definitely. Katina, I'm afraid we will beg you to come again because we have about 17 to discuss. We have not finished one.
So I will come again.
I trust. We really appreciate you. I think I won't ask people to help me.
But I want to add, because once we are able to bring ending into the equation, God and his almighty wisdom and power, a lot of things begin to take care. May I say, we are living in a world now where wonderful things are happening. The kind of relationship we saw recently last year or the year before between our Pope Francis and the chief imam of Al-Azhar, leading to a common document on human fraternity that has gone right to the United Nations. 3 years ago, it would have been a dream.
It wasn't like that.
It would have been a dream. And again, if those of us who believe that God's hand is in history, I see God's hand even in that kind of relationship.
Bro, somebody is writing from Benin Republic. He said, hello, good evening, sir. I love the program so much. Please tell my fellow Nigerians that both Christian and Muslims should learn how to love each other. It is written in the Holy Bible, even in the Quran. God bless Nigeria. Amen. So my name is Austin IG from Benin Republic, and actually it's from Benin Republic with the number that she said. We want to thank you for that.
Which unfortunately is the bad image you have given to ourselves outside. People outside keep thinking, why are you Christian? Why are you Nigerians fighting and killing?
Unfortunately,
and I said, my friends in Italy, once they hear that there is Boko Haram this summer, they are phoning me. Are you safe?
That's part of the.
And they are surprised when I tell them, I'm even safer here than in Rome.
Thank you so much. I think that's a good one. We are even safer here in most other places of the world.
Yes.
Because even our media, I think you talk about the media too in this thing, so that we'll be able to see the good things we are doing for ourselves. But we have to go on a very short break now. But don't go away. Father is still here. Prof is still here. I'm afraid we might stay for more than what they are supposed to stay, but no problem.
Nigeria, our great nation with vast and rich land. Our people are strong and united. Our founding fathers, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and a host of others bequeathed us a united, peaceful and prosperous Nigeria. Let us honor them by living in peace with one another. Let us eschew violence, ethnic profiling, and religious bigotry. We must avoid hate speech and other forms of derogatory words against our fellow Nigerians. Let our differences in tribes, cultures, religions, or politics be the ingredients that make our unity palatable. Let us all join hands to fight our common enemies of insecurity, poverty, and unemployment. Nigeria is big enough for us all. Let's unite to make our country a great place for us all. This message is from Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in collaboration with Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Yeah, welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are discussing
religion and national development. Prof, is our problem religion when we have not been developing as a nation?
I would categorically say no. Religion can be a problem. Particularly if you understand the normativity of religion. The challenge we have always had is this unwarranted conflation of religion with its practitioners. People always indulge in that conflation, just like the indulgence in the conflation of the sun and its manifestation. The conflation of the tree with the forest. I tell my students, whether Muslim or Christians, and I say that with all confidence, that it will be erroneous of you to use me to define what Islam is. Don't use me as a measurement for Islam. And I won't use you also as a measurement for Christianity. Because to do that is to use an ephemeral entity to determine and define an entity that is eternal. That is something that most people have engaged in and has also always led to this assumption that religion is always a problem. The other side dimension to that is that when you look at what's happening in Nigeria, and unfortunately our recent history, and that's the reason this assumption has become popular now. Unfortunately, this event that happened in Northeast, the challenge posed by Boko Haram, some of whom, I mean, we are witnesses to what they did. Sheikha would emerge on the TV and say that he wants to implant Sharia in the northeastern part of Nigeria. He didn't even believe that a sultan is a Muslim. So, I mean, he was of the view that his own Islam is best. That's every other practices, I mean, every other Muslim in Nigeria, they are kuffar. And that's why they engaged in those unwarranted acts of violence. Once you do not share their extraneous extremist,
so are they not Muslims?
They could claim that they are Muslims because they bear Muslim names. You could see them practice, I mean, observe Salat. But a Muslim who says he's a Muslim and he engages in those unwarranted acts of violence, then Islam has no link with him. You could say you are a Muslim, but you could also engage in actions that run contrary to what Islam is, then we know that you are actually not a Muslim. Let me remind you of this quotation, this prophetic tradition. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said, La yazni azani, hina yazni wa mu'min.
Okay.
La yazni azani, hina yazni wa mu'min. This is very, very important. Let me translate. The Prophet says, a fornicator who engages in an act of fornication assist being a believer in Allah when he at that time once engaged in that kind of atrocity and infraction. That is one. Number two, Quran chapter 5 verse 32. This is very key. This is very important. And for those of our viewers who are watching, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in that portion of the Quran, we have decreed unto the sons of Israel the universality of faith with reference to Islam. That gives life to his soul. A soul in stress, a soul in distress, a soul who desires, who needs to be rescued. Whosoever gives a life to such a soul, the reward that the Almighty shall give to that person will be the reward of that person who rescued the whole humanity. And whosoever engages in an act of atrocity, whosoever kills a soul unjustly, the punishment that will be meted to the person on the day of resurrection will be like the punishment that the Almighty will give to that person who killed everybody on earth. So for those who understand what Islam is, what Islam says, what Islam enjoys, we find it easy to differentiate between the atrocity of those who claim identity with particular religions from the religion they practice themselves. This is key for us when we are talking about how to go ahead in our inter-religious dialogue in Nigeria. In summary, the point I'm making is this: religion in the text, the religion that we learn either in the Bible or in the Quran, could be different from the way those who read the text practice them in different contexts in our reality. So the caution we have to exercise, those of us who are witnesses, the caution we have to exercise is not to use contexts to define texts. Avoid using contexts to define text. Avoid using practitioners of religion to define what religion is. Keeping in mind that when you talk about religion, you are talking about spirit. Keep in mind, when you talk about religion, you're also talking about interaction between yourself as a practitioner, as a believer in the Almighty, in the sacred, and your fellow human beings. Once there is a disconnect between what you claim to believe in and what you are acting, your action, once there is a disconnect between your faith and your activity, then you can't lay any claim anymore to that particular religion. Goodness.
Whatever you may have said now about Islam is also applicable to Christianity.
Definitely.
And I would say to every religion.
Yeah.
And it boils down to one simple fact, that religion as a sublime reality that has to do with God is beyond and higher than us. And there are hardly any human being who can beat his chest and say he is completely and totally faithful to his faith. We all try. We all make effort. And the important thing is that we should try our best to know what the essence of our faith is and try our best to live up to it. And the duty of religious leaders is precisely to guide people to live their religions faithfully. Our Bible is full of stories of people who were faithful to their faith, and plenty of stories of people who were completely unfaithful to their faith. With fidelity and infidelity always goes hand in hand. So because religion is such a sublime affair, it is not very, we are always unable to fully grasp it, but we can only try our best and rely on the mercy of the Almighty God to help us, guide us, and to help us. The problem with, when they say religion is this, religion caused this, I have tried to learn from my own personal experience, and I always say there are two things that makes religion appear what it is not. The one you referred to, namely people who have wrong idea about wrong notions about the religion, and some very often they are very sure of themselves. They are very sure of themselves in their error. we must know that exists. Like somebody who is chopping off somebody's head and shouting Allah Akbar. So there's something wrong with it.
No, it's mad. It's mad.
Well, you can say that's why because so there are many people who have wrong ideas about religion, and unfortunately some people judge religion by those actions, those events. That's it. Second point is when religion is used and misused, instrumentalized for other purposes. By who? This is where government and politicians come in. But even when we say religion is misused by politicians, we still have to ask, how is it that religion makes itself amenable to being misused? That's the question that agitated my mind. That question must always be asked. So that means we have to be very humble. We have to be very, very humble, so that even when we are professing our faith, we are very sure that we have the right faith. Let us adopt an attitude of humility, because that will help us to be able to not to go overboard, and also to recognize the hand of God in everything in other people, that people in the way they are practicing their faith. I think I know what it means to be a good Christian. And when I say a good Christian, not only me, actually, almost anybody. They know people who you can consider this man is a good man. There are universal. You can see this man is a good man. Or people behave somewhere and say, and he calls himself a Christian. Or and he calls himself a Muslim. Which means what you are saying, the discrepancy. You are saying that person is a bastard of what he claims to be. The discrepancy between the ideal and the reality is
glaring. It's glaring, and we have that so much everywhere in our country. Now, therefore, coming to your question, religion has its impact on nation building. If you remove religion from our lives in Nigeria, I don't know where we would be. No, there's no question that you... Because anybody who says that our religion is not doing us any good, try non-religion and see what will happen.
No, Father, there's even one that you'll be able to highlight this. But I'm coming. Let me read this message from Monrovia.
Oh, very far away.
Yeah, this one say, Assalamu alaikum. I have been monitoring the NTA for 3 months now, and the Abrahamic Mission program is the best for me. May Allah give the presenter and all of us long life to continue on this path. I am Varvi M. Sharif from Monrovia, Liberia. You see, there is what Father has been saying, which I think we need to actually highlight the more. And the question is, what has religion, what impacts have they had in our nation, Nigeria? Let me start by putting word into your mouth. Let's start from Catholic. Most good schools in this country were owned by Catholic. Now, ASU is on strike. Most children who are supposed to go in government school, they are in schools that are owned by religious organization. Now, and hundreds of good things they have done. What can you say as the thing that you say religion has contributed into the Nigerian nation?
This is any serious religion must not only preach doctrines, it must also impact life. So they must be together. When missionaries, Christian missionaries first came to this country, whether Methodist, Catholic, Anglican, they also not only taught people how to pray and read the Bible, they also build schools so that they can have modern education. And in some places they even help them to taught them better methods of agriculture. We call it human development. Goes hand in hand with religious practices. In fact, the fact that during the Civil War around the 1971, the federal government took over our Catholic schools. It was a mistake, colossal mistake. Or by the way, they took over also Muslim schools.
It's a government policy.
But it was a wrong policy. The wrong policy for which we are still paying now, because of course the church had to give in.
Yes.
But eventually, you see what happened. After a few years, we did not allow ourselves to just sit there doing nothing. We started getting involved in education, but as private education. So anybody who is not saying that the Christians are building schools that are expensive, private schools, we were forced. We didn't really want to go into private education. We wanted to be more in public education, and things would have, my own opinion, things would have gone much better. They didn't need to take over the schools in order to do what they did. But as it is now, here we are facing these issues. But what I wanted to say is that any religion that what is sought must not only preach doctrine, dogma, prayer. It must also help people to live a good life, a better life. Jesus says, I have come that they may have life and have it in abundance.
And that's people see the impact of my.
If you like, I can say that. If you like, I can say that a lot, but I will not.
Now we have from the Islamic perspective, the Muslim experience in Nigeria.
We have less than 3 minutes to go.
Well, quickly,
you can come back another day.
Okay, probably. Go on. So, what Father has said with reference to the Christian experience in Nigeria is also true with reference to Muslims in Nigeria. This is a function of the normative conception of Islam. Four items.
can be instantiated here. Okay. Number one, practicality of this religion. Wherever you see those who understand what Islam is, you see them put it into practice correctly in a humane, universal, peaceful way. Number two, comprehensiveness. Once you claim identity with Islam, wherever you are, you want to put it into practice. You want people to appreciate the religion in your daily life. Number three, universality. Northern Muslim, Southern Muslim, Eastern Muslim, Western Muslim, whether Muslim or not, Islam emphasizes the universality of our humanity, and that's why you can't throw religion away. Once you do that, other matters will arise. The last thing relates to our conception of the divine. Once you take religion off the table, human nature is such that we always want to anchor our life, our activity on certain things. You can't. Our heart has been created in such a way that there must be. It's like an engine in a car. Once the engine of a car is bad, then the human body is dead. Religion for humanity. Even those in United States of America refer to itself as in God we trust. Sure. So to emphasize the importance of religion, even in advanced country. But the challenge, I want to concede, Father would either agree with this or not, is that there appears to be over-cultivation of religion in our country today. At a time, Muslims and Christians should be at work. Some of the time you see them engage in prayers, whereas they know that if it were to be prayers alone, we could say, let's plant our cocoa, our groundnut, our maize, and begin to pray. If God does not send down the rain, these plants will not germinate. The point I'm making is that the challenge we are facing today is not lack of religion, but the over religion, or over cultivation of religion in our nation today. And that's something that we need to put a check on. And Father said, and Muslims will also concur, that we need to do that. The point he also made also applies to Muslims too. Muslims have been active in the education terrain, they have been active in the political terrain, they have been active in all spheres of life. Talk about the Sukuk bond now. Sukuk bond was, it's a new thing that even the federal government has discovered is very useful. It's been practiced all over the world, even in the so-called advanced country. So the point I'm making is that religion for us in Nigeria is good, but we must avoid its over-cultivation. Once it's time, you go to some places of work, government offices, instead of people working, being conscientious in their work, you see them pray. At a time, they should be praying, they should be working. So I guess this is
but that is very clear now, that Jesus even said, it's not all those who say Lord, Lord, that are actually those who do the will of my Father.
Father, I think that's where we stop it.
Yes.
He said, not all those who say Lord, Lord,
yes,
are actually...
You must believe in God, but those who do the will of God.
I think that's where we end it. It is only those who do the will of God that are actually working as Nigerian who believes in God. If you are doing contrary,
and at that level we mix Christians, Muslims, Hindus.
What about the HTR, sir?
Then you should distinguish between the core of the religion and the externals. The same thing is valid.
I think I do not know how to thank you, but I know the entire world is thanking you.
And I thank the entire world.
Okay, we want to thank you, Father, because I just told him and said, Father, we come. We thank you, and I pray that God in his infinite mercy will continue to support you.
Amen.
And Prof was supposed to have left for Ibadan. I said, no, you can't go. And he decided to stay, that no, you have to do something. And I thank you for being around.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And I thank you for accepting to be with us.
And we hope the ASU strike will soon be over.
By his will. We just send them with his will.
Until when we meet next time, my name still remain Imam Fuad Adeyemi saying bye-bye.
Don't forget to see the way telling about the post this. Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, chow, and isi. The idea that is we can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of
Congratulations, you've been able to sign to move right now from Aviation to
take water before you walk out.
people have used that phone, you TikTok to those that a lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
And welcome to another amazing edition of your weekend.
I'm telling you, it has to be heat and it has to be steamy, it has to be hot. But we decided that somebody has to tell a story that is family oriented.
I got you all to fight you.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Movie. The film news everyone ever cared about.
See, when you say pour out, you can't call water. You don't excavate water.
This is the #1 program, Gallery.
Do you love to gist or gossip?
It is extremely wrong. And we cannot take it.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Whip and Grill.
Welcome to the slant today, where we say it as it is and we get to enjoy ourselves talking about various things that are happening in our society.
Beyond 6 packs. So your job still remains as the man. To protect the woman, to project the woman. You need to do that.
hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
This is the